Cool. We're
And we are live.
easy, right? Professionals do this every day.
Oh no, this has an auto-playing ad, yay.
Okay, cool.
Which brings us to our
Yeah.
first topic. A
Oh, really?
study.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you read this article?
Um, when I went to the page, it started auto-playing a
Okay,
video.
cool. Yeah. This
Yeah.
there's definitely air quotes on this one. Study suggests that video games make people happier. And at first I was like, okay, I could totally agree with this. And then
Yeah.
I read the 3 paragraphs of the article and I was like, okay, now I see what they did. It's very interesting. It's kind of misleading, but kind of makes sense. And there'll be more at 11. Zoom is going to let people have a Thanksgiving dinner that lasts more than 40 minutes. Is that good? Is that bad? Should Thanksgiving have a time limit?
Time limit. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. Apparently there's something called a privacy phone. This guy knows everything about it. It
I
is
did
a
read the article.
very long article.
It's a pretty long article, yeah.
It's more than 3 paragraphs telling you about video games making you happy. That's for sure.
Yeah.
This is a continued saga of Microsoft pushing its services on their users of Windows 10. And for some reason, I knew this, and I didn't think that, like, this is something I should talk about until I saw an entire article saying, here's why you shouldn't push this button. Because I've done it once before, and then I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll just skip this on every computer from now on. We have a free app that is stealing people's money on Android. And maybe you should check what Android apps you have on your phone. It's kind of interesting. It's definitely not what I thought when I read the article. Or before I had read the article.
Okay.
Amazon employees were stealing iPhones. And not like 2. More like thousands on thousands. So you might want to check your packages before you wrap them for the holidays.
Otherwise, someone could be very disappointed.
You might get 2 bars of soap in your box. It's a different kind of Grinch this year.
Yeah.
And then if we're not on enough time, which I think we're going to have plenty of topic time this week, we got 19 tips to save you time in Windows 10. Neither of us read the article. We're going to see how many we just naturally do.
Yep.
Chances are we waste a lot of time from these tips.
Yep.
So this first article here, a study that suggests something about video games making you happier. I thought this was going to be like a real, you're right about the wow. 1 second.
The auto playing video, yeah.
Yeah, right. Mute say, okay. I thought it was going to be like a real in-depth article or, something of interest. Oh no, you're like off camera.
Oh,
Put you up here.
there we go.
Oh, not that. Oh, is it this one? Not that one. Is it this one? One of these is the cut button. There we go. You're a little long.
I stretched out.
Yeah.
It's fine.
That's fine, right? No, we're going to spend the next
I
45
had
minutes.
takes up half the screen.
We're going to spend 45 minutes doing this. Everyone get ready. All right, perfect. It's amazing.
Nice.
Okay, playing video games makes you happier. Study finds. So, I was super excited about this because I started playing a lot more video games the past 3 weeks, which you actually know because I started playing it with you.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, my nights are actually getting better. It's not just me sitting at a computer watching movies by myself all day. But then I started reading into this article. And they say, playing video games may improve your mental health and make you happier. According to a scientific study, they didn't air quote it, but I am, that used industry data from gaming companies to analyze players' well-being. The research of University of Oxford analyzed the effects of playing 2 popular video games. So this is a research study on 2 video games, which is kind of important to note because this is not...
There's a lot Yeah, there's a lot of different video games out there.
Right. So
Yeah,
playing video
they're very
games
different from
doesn't
these
make you
two.
happy. Playing these two video games might make you happy. These two games are Nintendo's Animal Crossing New Horizons and EA's Plants vs. Zombies Battle of Neighborville. And I actually play the original Plants vs. Zombies in spare time sometimes. Yep. It's kind of a arcade-style fun game. It kind of makes me happy. Right. So it found that time spent playing these games was associated with players reporting that they felt happier. Can agree. So far, we are on the same page.
But yeah, it is important to note that the players were saying that they felt happier.
Right.
Which can be hard to define, I guess. But yeah, but they enjoyed playing the games.
Yep. So then it goes into this fourth paragraph, but where it kind of like they kind of backtrack on themselves from their title, saying that all video games, I think that's what they say, playing video games. But the study was limited to these two titles, and researchers did not explicitly conclude that increased playtime was what caused participants to experience better mental health. And that paragraph, 2 sentences, one sentence, that's a comma, kind of like throws out the entire point of video games make people happier. I think some video games can make people happier, but then if you're playing a much more aggravating game like Super Mario Sunshine, then you might get a little more aggravated than happy fun. And I think one thing that would be super interesting, I don't actually, that's about as far as in the articles I read, would be if Steam added like, I forget what it's called. Is it serotonin, the happy drug that's in your brain?
Yeah, that and then dopamine, right?
Dopamine, that's what I'm thinking of. Serotonin might be the sleepy one. Serotonin.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually.
Serotonin is the key hormone that stabilizes our mood, feeling of well-being, and happiness. Okay, cool. One of those. Anyways, they should have like one of those keys in like Steam, so people can rate. Like, this is a game that makes me happier versus a game that makes me frustrated.
Yeah.
Because Steam has so many tags already in it that adding a tag that, like, this is an arcade style game that makes you frustrated, it must be Super Meat Boy. Or if it's a arcade style game that makes you happy, it might be Plants vs. Zombies. And that would be kind of cool. That way, you know, for game streamers, they could be like, you know, I want to find a game that makes me angry. It's a frustrating game, and that gives you better reactions and such. But
yeah,
I felt like this study was a very
another note there at the bottom of the article, like the third to last paragraph, says researchers suggested that the experiences of competence and social connection with others offered by the games may have also contributed to the results. So the style of game, like if it's a co-op game, might make you more happy than just a single player game, you know?
Yeah. And actually
you have that social interaction.
Yeah, that goes super well with the game that I've been playing recently, Phasmophobia, where if I'm playing by myself, it turns into like this super horror style game, and it's almost really hard to play because it's so terrifying. But the second somebody else jumps in and starts playing with me, it goes from a horror game into an arcade-styled speed run. That's not the right word. Arcade-styled speed run of like, how fast can we figure out all this information? And more of like a, what's those games where you just like hunt around a screen to find like Waldo or something like that? It becomes like one of those style games, like
a puzzle game.
Yeah, it becomes a puzzle game rather than a horror game.
Yeah.
It's like, it is a little scary, but like the scary is more like, I don't know, not
you're
scary.
Kind of on your own,
right?
Yeah.
And I think the ecosystem's not the right word, but the setting that you play the game in makes a bigger difference than the actual game itself.
Yeah. Because I know for me, I rarely play any single player games.
Yeah.
Just because, I don't know, if I'm going to be playing a game, I'd rather just be playing it with people, with friends, you know?
Yeah, that
Or
does
even
make
if it's not
sense.
friends, just random people, you know?
Just to have like some type of connected experience.
Yeah.
Because like I
Some
still don't play
cooperation.
that many video games. I started playing much more since Phasmophobia released.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I'll still just watch other people play games, which a lot of people still give crap about. But like
Hmm.
people watch people play sports. I can watch people play games. Be like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But moving to the next topic, instead of watching people play games, you could watch your family eat dinner for Thanksgiving with Zoom. Zoom will now drop the 40-minute limit for Thanksgiving. I assume this is for the Zoom like free version.
Hmm.
I believe that had the 40-minute limit on it. But
Yep.
they're saying, as a thank you to our customers, we will be lifting the 40-minute limit for all meetings globally from midnight Eastern Standard on November 26th through 6 a.m. Eastern Standard November 27th. So your family gatherings don't get cut short. Hashtag Zoom together. And that's really the only thing about that topic was just like Zoom lifting their ban. Not ban,
That's
but
kind of
their
cool.
time limit.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I'm really curious on is if this will increase the amount of people that do use Zoom, or if this isn't going to affect the people who are going to use Zoom anyways. And if it's going to affect it so much that this actually ruins some Thanksgivings because they were relying on Zoom, and then to get the couple people in the family that are not tech savvy to move over to, Facebook video chat or Discord video chat or
Hmm.
Google video chat, that trying to be like, all right, go to this website. Now type in this code. Now put in this name here and hit login. Now check your microphone, check your speaker. If
Hmm.
that's such a barrier for entry for the non-techies at a stressful time like Thanksgiving dinner,
Yeah.
I wonder if this will ruin anyone's Thanksgiving. Let's see how the Zoom servers hold up. Put the
Yeah.
trust in a server.
Yeah. It is interesting. They have a statistic at the bottom of this article talking about Zoom's popularity. It says the user base increased from 10 million in December to 30 million, or sorry, 300 million in April. So just due to COVID, their usage increased 30 times. Because I mean,
Wow.
I'd never really heard of Zoom
I never heard of it till
before.
April.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'd heard of Skype, of course,
Yeah.
and
Skype
some of the
and
other ones.
like the Microsoft Teams.
Microsoft Teams, yeah, which is kind of newer, but Google Hangouts, and which is
Yeah.
kind of dead-ish now, but
Right. It's just been
but
rebranded
Zoom
7
wasn't really a
times.
thing. Yeah, yeah, but Zoom was pretty new, and it took off really quickly. So
And it's good to see that they haven't started selling their user data yet. Let's see if they can keep that up.
or are they?
Well, as long as they don't
Yes.
start being like this Android app company and start doing some sketchy stuff. Oh, we're not doing that one. We're doing a
Yes.
different Android topic.
This is about privacy phones. So, kind of, this article from CNET talks a little bit about Apple and Android and some of the issues that exist with those operating systems. Mentions a trip that some people took to China, and when they moved from Hong Kong to China, the Chinese government, the people at the border, wanted to kind of look into their smartphones to see what kind of data was on their smartphones. And the issue with that was that there's data on the smartphone that may not be encrypted. So this company, or this guy, wanted to create a more secure smartphone that would not have that issue and that allows users to control who has access to their data and when, including when the actual company itself has access. There's some backstory here about a company called Essential, who were trying to build a smartphone to compete with Apple and Android, or I guess Apple and Samsung. It was actually Essential was an Android smartphone, started up by Andy Rubin, one of the fathers of Android, according to the article. But then that company ended up dying because of some issues with Essential, where Essential didn't really offer anything different than Apple or Samsung. It was just kind of trying to compete with them on an even playing field. Whereas you really need, if you're jumping into a massive industry like that, you really need something that separates you from everybody else who already is known to create good products. So Essential failed, but then they started a new company called OSOM, which has some of the team from that Essential team, but it does not include Andy Rubin, who was the head of Essential, I believe. And this new company, OSOM, which stands for Out of Sight, Out of Mind, isn't trying to completely recreate Essential, but they're actually trying to do something a little bit different, which is giving users more control to their data and allowing users to decide who has access to their data. And to be honest, there wasn't a whole lot in this article about how they will control that, because certain applications, they need access to this data to run.
Correct. Yeah.
Like Facebook won't run if they don't have access to your data. So there's got to be some kind of balance between controlling who has access to your data, but also being able to use these apps that require the data. So it'll be interesting to see how they deal with that dilemma.
Because whenever I see something like this where it's like trying to like put the privacy first more, I forget which interview or movie or TV show or whatever it was from. It was something about surrounding the whistleblower dude, Edward Snowden.
Yeah.
And I think it was him. And it was talking about like if you could just see on your phone, like if you're able to somehow like right click on an app or something and be able to see everything that your phone app is sending out. So you're like able to like right click on Facebook or something and you can see that it's sending your name, your contacts, your location, your Bluetooth settings, or all the devices your Bluetooth is connected to, all the Wi-Fi networks that your phone can see, not even just connected to. And then you had an easy flick switch to turn all these different things off. Chances are you would sit there and turn the majority of those things off.
Yeah.
Because you'd be like,
that's a good point.
Why does Facebook need to know what's that called, gyro, in my phone? But then it's like, well, of course it needs to know gyro so it can rotate. But you're like, does it like need to know it all the time? Like even when the app's not running? And I always think of that whenever I see an article like this talking about phone privacy. It's like, I wish that there was such an easier way to see just a full
for
list.
Users to actually see what's being shared. Yeah, that's a good point. And then maybe they would learn more about protecting their privacy if they actually saw what was being shared. Yeah, that's a really good point, actually.
But it's never going to happen. There's no way. Why tell people what you're doing when you can just get away with not telling people what you're doing?
Yeah.
But best of luck to Osum. I mean, we'll see if it turns into anything. It's kind of hard to believe that it will. I see this, instead of being a whole nother operating system, to be almost just an app on a phone. It's like, here's like, God mode or something that gives people the ability to see all this stuff going on. And it just opens up the back door of Android and you can have a lot more control over it. But creating a whole operating system, that's going to be a hard thing to do and a hard thing to get people on board with.
Yeah, especially when you're competing with massive companies like Google, who owns Android, and Apple,
with iOS,
and then all the different companies that build Android devices.
like 7,000 of them or something.
Microsoft tried. Of course, this company is trying to offer something different than what Microsoft offered. But, at the end of the day, they're both creating smartphones. And if Microsoft can't,
If Microsoft can't compete, what makes a startup think that they have a chance?
And, I understand that what they're offering is something completely different, but still, it's not easy to do.
No kidding. Your ability to talk with both of your earphones over your ears is outstanding. I have to hear my voice, and it keeps sliding off my head. So I was like, all right, I gotta flip one over. That is why it looked ridiculous.
That is why. Yeah, that's why.
Speaking of looking ridiculous, we have Microsoft. Microsoft has a Let's Go button, and this article is just telling us not to click Let's Go, but more importantly, it's telling you what happens when you do hit Let's Go, which is like how an article should be written.
Mm-hmm.
So this is over on ghacks.net. So when you open up your settings menu, actually, let's see this. Open up my settings menu. I don't have it. Oh well. You might get this little thing here that says, get even more out of Windows. With a few quick selections, you'll be on your way to enjoying the full Microsoft experience. And then you click Let's Go or Skip for now. Honestly, just ignore this whole thing, because what gets placed here, actually, I can show you that on mine. Maybe not. Nope. Can't do that. It's just like Google Cloud Storage. There's probably a picture at the bottom. Not Google Cloud. What's that? Microsoft OneDrive? That's it.
Yes.
So if
it is. There's another picture a little bit below.
Okay, cool.
3 images down. Yep.
So if you hit this Let's Go button, you get this beautiful blue screen. And it's talking about things like setting up Windows Hello, and it helps you sign in. How you can link your cell phone to your PC, which actually does kind of work if you want that.
Okay.
You can work seamlessly across devices, and this is really just using their cloud backup software. You can achieve more with your Microsoft Office 365 subscription, which is like a sales pitch for Microsoft Office. Now, it gets better, though. Keep your files more secure in the cloud with OneDrive, which is a OneDrive cloud subscription. It's like, all right, well, 3 of these are like ads so far. Enhance your web browsing experience. Restore Microsoft recommended browser settings. So
I'm going to guess they suggest Edge.
Yeah, so if you changed your browser recommendation settings, they want you to change it back to their recommendation, which is their product. And so you go ahead and click continue, and you come up with this page. We actually made this a little bigger. There we go. So it's like use recommended browser settings. So it's use Microsoft recommended browser settings. And it will switch your browser to Microsoft Edge and your default search engine to Microsoft Bing. I'm saying Microsoft so many times in this article. Or you can just don't update your browser settings and keep your existing settings. The interesting part about this, though, is down here, they leave apply settings grayed out. You have to hit skip for now if you don't want to update your browser settings. So make sure you you go over and hit on the left side. It's very deceiving. And next, save 50% on your first year of Microsoft 365. It sounds like an ad. Can you guess why?
I'm pretty sure it is an ad.
Oh. So, of course, you can hit no thanks. And then there it is. So that's what it looks like. It gives your name, which is this article's guy's name. And then OneDrive, and shows your Windows updates. So his closing words are, a click on the Let's Go open, or Let's Go, sentences. A click on the Let's Go button opens a full screen interface that is part advertisement for Microsoft services, part an attempt to get you to use Microsoft services and products, such as OneDrive or Microsoft Edge. There's a whole button on the settings menu that just shows you advertisements for Microsoft products. Windows XP would be embarrassed.
So yeah, really no reason to
don't click that button.
complete that.
But I
If
mean,
you
at
were
this
interested
point,
in what they were offering, you would probably already have it.
right? I mean, at this point, we wasted as much time telling you not to click the button as if you had just clicked the button and had to deal with the advertisements.
Speaking of advertisements.
Advertisements!
This video is sponsored by Jmart Media and
NephewTech.com.
yeah. We did good pointing.
Yeah, right? Professional pointers.
Hey, we can do one thing right.
I'm going to have to get you one of these yellow soft boxes over there.
Yeah, I'm a little white looking.
I actually still have 3 if you want 2.
Maybe so. Or I could probably change my browser
So say,
to be more
open up
orange.
Microsoft Paint and just paint bucket it orange real fast.
Yeah, right?
Will it actually work?
Yeah, you want to see?
This will be hysterical. Because you're definitely not tan enough for this to actually make a big difference.
Let's see. Make that bigger. Is it doing anything?
I don't think so.
It might be bright enough in here that it's not.
You know, if I just
Make
move
it big
closer
enough
to the
change.
edge of this camera, it might trick
There we
people's
go.
eyes. It is actually a lot better. I mean, it's not.
Is it better or worse?
It's just darker.
It's definitely more orange.
Right? So one trick I actually do in here, what's this thing called? The Kelvin color temperature? Yeah, let's flip one of these things.
There can be other colors too.
Copy image address. One trick I did with my camera lighting. Let's make this bigger, like this. Screen, full screen. There we go. Oh,
Okay.
if we do F10 to make it full screen. Oh, wrong thing. This one, full screen. Perfect. So these 2 lights, softboxes on the sides of my cameras are, I think they're 1200 Kelvin. So they're like way down here. No, they're 1800. They're 1800 Kelvin. So they're just below candle, which is just like an arbitrary, I believe. And then my lights above me are 6000. They're day whites, which is how I get that like daylight behind me. So like it looks like my window's open. My window's actually closed with the curtains over it. That way, as we stream, it doesn't get darker and darker in my room. I learned that from 1 week.
Okay, makes sense.
And that way you can't tell what time it is in my room because I got the daylights behind me and then I got the oranges on me to give me that beautiful orange glow. I might have to switch one of them out for the daylight white though because it's very orange.
Pretty orange. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of being very orange, this app, which is how I started the last article, but we're actually on the right article. This time, you need to delete this hugely popular Android app before it steals your money. And I didn't realize how popular this app was until they put a number. So this is over on phonearena.com. And so it goes on blah, 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 blah. And so this app is called Viva Video. And I was like, okay. I mean, it's a video editing app. There's probably a bajillion of them. I doubt that many people have this app. Until you 12 million user ratings for an average of 4.4 score. So not only is this like a popular app, 12 million users reviewed it and gave it a 4.5 star rating.
Which is a pretty good rating.
That's like a So like that's one of those things like
Really good, actually.
if I was
Yeah.
browsing an app on an app store and it says like 10 million plus, which is what this would have said. I mean, it probably still does say at 4.4 stars. I probably really wouldn't look into it, but all right, you know, 12 million people can't be wrong.
Mhm. Yeah.
It turns out 12 million people can be wrong. Now, apparently, this app does work as intended, as it's advertised to the customer. So you can just snip and edit and add emojis and text on top of videos and whatnot on your phone, which is like what it looks like it's supposed to do. Good job, app, for doing something you're supposed to do. But what they're doing is kind of sneaky. So somehow, I didn't quite fully understand this part, so you might actually know, is it's trying to subscribe you to like these services that will automatically charge your card. I don't know how it would do that without you first putting in like your card into the store, but somehow they try to trick their customers into all these different oddball services, probably third party, and they're just getting the commission from third party references.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, referrals. Referrals. There you go.
Yeah.
And the next is the big scammy one, which is they're apparently showing invisible ads. And so ad companies think they're buying these ad spots on this super popular 12 million user rating app. You know, if there's 12 million ratings on it, there's probably a lot more users. Last time I rated an app was a long time ago.
Above that 12 million user thing, it says it's been installed 100 million times around the world.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, they're selling these ads and companies are paying for them, but users aren't actually seeing these ads the companies are paying for because they're hidden behind, whatever the user's actually doing.
Yeah.
Out of view.
Very clever CSS is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much, right?
Yeah. And so this paragraph here kind of makes me angry. Should you delete the app or just update to the latest version? The answer to that question obviously depends on how much you care about Viva Video's functionality and how much you like to gamble. According to security head Jeffrey Cleves, while the older versions of the app are known to be fraudulent, his team's research hasn't reached the same conclusion in regards to newer ones, ... just yet.
But when you see a company like this, yeah, exactly.
No, delete
a company
it.
that's done this in the past, yeah. They're not just going to magically decide to not steal your money one day.
A company's just not like, oh, you caught us. We'll be good now.
Yeah. And then the article says, on top of everything, the app requires a bunch of unnecessary user permissions, which should be reason enough for many people to avoid installing it in the first place. Which brings us back to the OSOM, giving users more control over what kind of data apps have access to.
And one of these, so like this idea, like trusting the company once it does something bad once, I actually have the same thing that happens a lot in store where people are asking recommendations on antivirus because that's like one thing that, every computer guy should know is like what antivirus to recommend. It's like if somebody asks you what antivirus, you probably have like a list of like your top like 2 favorites and your least 2 favorites on that list. And mine will always be the least 2 favorites of Avast and AVG. Now, the reason we totally been over this before, is that they're both owned by the same like parent companies. So like they're owned by the same guys, and the parent companies, which I actually pulled up this article on, from Engadget, and this is back in January 27, 2020. So 10 months ago or whatever that magic number is, 11 months. Avast packaged detailed user data to be sold for millions of dollars, and so the Avast and their parent companies have been caught selling user data. And like, oh, but like if they get caught. And like I have customers argue because they have like the Avast Premium, and I still get customers that are like, well, you can trust them, but I will never trust that company name again. And then if I hear, 3 years down the future that the CEO of Avast stepped down and has joined, the Malwarebytes team for antivirus, I'm like, well, can't use Malwarebytes now because the toxicity has probably shifted.
Yeah.
And, Viva, whatever you call it, Viva Video. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Viva Video. Chances are I would never be able to trust anyone.
That app, yeah.
From that company. It's all about the money, and they're definitely finding it.
Speaking of finding money, you might unwrap your present and find something you didn't expect.
And it might be past your warranty, too, so you might not even be able to get returned. This one is going to suck for a lot of people, I think, this year. This is also from Phone Arena, which is basically the new Verge for us, I guess. Amazon workers stole $500,000. It's actually quite a bit more than $500,000 worth of iPhones. I wanted to make the joke, oh, so that's like 6 iPhones? But then, so Apple's brand new iPhone 12 series is apparently one of the most desirable smartphones on the market today. And it looks like there was 5 employees total that were caught for stealing, and it's 5,000 euros, which is about 6,000 Americans worth of iPhones from a logistics standard in, oh man, this place. So the interesting part is, from what little I read of this article, is that one of those 5 people actually went to the police. So it looks like they eventually ratted themselves out.
Okay.
So 3 suspects were promptly arrested after leaving work. The 4th one was during work hours, while the 5th accomplice went to the police voluntarily. So it sounds like that was a whole operation and one of them got scared.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, all 5 have been fired. Good job, Amazon.
Yeah.
Right? I bet that was a hard call.
Yeah.
The interesting part, though, is where is it? Amazon uncovered the lawbreakers by launching an internal investigation. After it was noticed that certain iPhone boxes didn't weigh as much as they should, which is interesting to think that Amazon's like somehow weighing their products. I'm not sure if it's all products or if they noticed this and they're like, all right, we got to figure out, where are they disappearing? Mm-hmm. And the weight of the box was the way to go. The company then utilized hidden cameras to find the suspects did indeed replace the phones with other items in the box. So the whole finding it out through the weight thing is super odd. I wonder if it, because it was probably close enough. I would think they're just throwing anything in there, but it's definitely interesting that Amazon was able to find these 5 employees. But then again, if you're stealing almost 600,000 USD in iPhones,
that's actually a lot of iPhones. Yeah.
Even if the iPhone was $1,000 a piece, that's 600 iPhones. You should be able to trace that, and they did. But yeah, definitely check your boxes, because just because this is happening to iPhones doesn't mean this isn't happening to other Amazon warehouse products.
Mm-hmm.
That's really all I had on that article. It was just that's kind of scary.
Warning. Yeah. Now for the fun one. You want to knock out this fun one?
Yeah, we're only at 40 minutes.
19 time-saving tips for Windows. And neither of us have read over this because we wanted to read over it live and see how many of these things we did. So, just guessing, how many do you think that you do?
4.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I probably do 6.
I like how we're so pessimistic that this article is actually helpful.
It's just going to be because they're going to be so specific.
Okay, so you think they're going to be super specific? I think it might be like it's not useful. Like oh, in order to connect your Bluetooth faster, you should check this checkbox to help your Bluetooth. I'm like, well, I don't connect Bluetooth devices, or
I guess that's kind of what I mean by more specific things that only specific users who are trying to accomplish a certain task would need to do.
So these are 19 certain task saving. Sweet. Let's get into them.
I'm gonna may not apply to everyone is what I'm thinking, but we'll see.
Yeah, make this a bit bigger here.
So first off, we've got close down background program.
Darn it, I'm at 1. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna add a text overlay so we can keep track of how many we do. Unless you got an easier way.
No, that's fine. So close down background programs. I mean, I never really close down background programs unless I